you'll find that people that are working on themselves, there's a depth to that. Everyone gets into a routine, and it's getting yourself out of those routines and into your heart. As men, it is hard to lead with love, like real, honest, open love.
And sometimes the result that I don't want has a lot of emotional attachment to it. And it is quite the struggle to separate from that.
The things that you say to yourself, would you allow anyone else to disrespect you by saying? And that's been a big trigger for a lot of people, because you were talking about the how you treat yourself and the grace that you allot yourself. And, that's been a big trigger for a lot of people when I talk to them and they talk about, being self-deprecating or having a poor outlook on themselves, the negative self-talk. And I just kind of throw it out there, because with men especially, respect is a big thing. And I have body dysmorphia issues, I have this, I have that, not good enough syndrome, all those things. But if some stranger came up to me and was like, nice fat belly, I'd be like, I'm about to use this fat belly to punch you in the mouth. Like, what? So why am I allowing myself to get away with it, right? Why would I disrespect myself when, quite honestly, nobody on this planet is going to love me as much as I should love myself? So why take out my biggest advocate in having a good existence?
Exactly. Yeah. Why live in that moment? And your point about respect is big for men. It's like, respect is big for everybody, but outside respect, who gives two shits? At the end of the day, who gives two shits about that?
Yeah.
It's all about the respect that you give yourself, and how, and it's just like, it's everything that you do, your exercise, how you are treating your temple, right? And that was the one thing that I recognized in myself was, wow, there's good a year and a half where I was just, treating myself like crap, and I could really get down on myself, or I could just do something about it, and that felt better than just being like, oh man, I'm just, I'm way overweight, or, it's like, I just don't want to go down that road. And I think being in the meditation, of course, the stillness gives you that ability to find those moments where you have a learning moment. You can get in there and gain something from it.
A lot of this for me touches on integrity. I get respect from other people when I am in integrity with myself. It's what I've noticed, that the respect comes automatically from that. I don't get integrity from respect. I get respect from integrity. And so when I'm in a car and I'm getting frustrated because of traffic and people cutting me off, I do the same thing. I'd say it's 50-50. Sometimes I don't care at all. Other times there are things going on in my life that are stressing me out. And then all of a sudden I care about the way that other people are performing around me. Right. I have to do that reminder of like, hey, the universe is happening no matter what. My timeline is just crashing through part of it, right? And if I didn't want my timeline to crash through part of it, maybe I just stay home today, right? And so that, and I notice in those moments, I'm not in integrity with myself at all. And that feels gross.
Yeah. Well, and integrity is a massive thing that men need to pay attention to as well, because I think, honestly, one of the nicest compliments that I've ever received was actually by you when we were talking about, businesses and everything like that. And you just said, like, I trust you more than almost any person I know. Every time that you've told me that you were going to do something, you did that something. And that meant a lot to me, because I pride myself on being a man of my word, right? And if I can't keep my word with other people, I'm not going to keep it with myself. And conversely, if I can't keep it with myself, I'm not going to be able to keep it with other people. And so, I do all that I can to stay on top of all the things. And the only time really that I'm slipping up on it is when there's just not a path to do it. And I do everything I can to let a person know I'm not going to be able to perform the way that I thought I was going to perform on this, or just flat out if I forget about it. And so, I time block quite a bit now. But, if I tell somebody, if I, give somebody my word on something, I do everything I can to fulfill that.
As has been my experience of you. I mean, I meant every word of it, because to me, that's accurate.
I appreciate that.
Maybe that's not accurate for other people in your life. I don't know. I'm not those people. I don't have to have their experience, right? And again, that comes down to back to my point about my timeline is happening, or rather the universe is happening and my timeline's crashing through it. Right now, the way that my timeline is crashing through the universe and interacting with yours has been really fantastic. I mean, we've done so much in the last 8 months alone. It's been great. And I mean, I know you because of you.
Yeah.
And I, I value the way that we interact with each other. It's really great to have these smaller circles of people that I know I can have a real conversation with. I can do something beneath the surface of just the generic, casual conversations that people generally have in Western civilization. We do significantly more than that. I find it much more entertaining. So
it's not surface level. And that's you'll find that people that are working on themselves, there's a depth to that, right? You're not just a prisoner to the routine, right? Mentally, you're seeking more, more of that. It's like, and one of the things about like being stuck in traffic or whatever the situation is, when I gave up the, illusion that I had some sort of control, then you start to really open yourself up to the beauty of the moment. This isn't the way that I, expected it to be, and you're stuck in that instead of just being in that moment.
Amorphity.
Yeah.
Love, fate.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's it.
Again, probably the most powerful that I've ever been was when I was really adopting and adapting those principles of Stoicism and going like, okay, well, this was not how I planned it, but okay, like let's move on from that. I love what it is now. Even if it didn't go according to my plan, even if it was the polar opposite of what I thought I was looking for, I was surrendered to just being on the experience. And when you're experiencing life rather than, let's say, even unsuccessfully navigating it, if you're just surrendered to the moment rather than attempting to control it and not always being met with the results that you're hoping for, life just becomes so much more enjoyable. Yeah. And that might be kind of at the crux of where I have issues with traffic is, I'm driving a machine that is made of thousands of pounds of steel at a rate that humans never ran, right? And so this is a relatively new thing to human beings, is to travel this fast. And so I'm like, okay, I only trust me. I need to be in control of this. And then there's hundreds of people who are just out there existing as well. And I have to surrender that control.
That's why I have my Tesla drive me everywhere I go.
Well, I don't have that Tesla money, Eric.
Boy, has that changed things.
Yeah. I'll get to that financial ability someday to be happy in traffic.
Oh, man. But, it's those, the one of the tools that I use is when the shit happens, it's like, I tell myself I'm getting into the spot where like, this has to happen for the next great thing, that's going to come my way to happen so that, that keeps me in the moment, right? And not just festering on the thing that happens that could potentially ruin your day, or you could spend 20 or 40 minutes or 2 hours or the rest of the day on, and there's a certain amount of, giving back to yourself there, right? You're giving yourself grace in those moments. And that's, that's such a huge key for me. 'Cause those things happen. The traffic happens, the shit happens, you spill the coffee, all those those things that you could look at negatively, or you just, let it go.
Yeah. And I mean, you are really rubber meets the road when it comes to this stuff. I mean, you and your wife are actually even doing some retreats, and we had kind of talked about that. Now, are they workshops or retreats? Like, are people staying?
No, not staying. It's just work. It's workshops, but Stacy's awesome. She's just having the space. We've got a great space, and having the ability to have everyone come in for a weekend, and really be in an open heart situation. It's very easy to get stuck in the day to day, and we're all navigating this journey on our own. Really, we think we're all together, but really it's your own journey. You're choosing who you're going to involve yourself with.
Yeah.
But everyone gets into a routine, and it's getting yourself out of those routines and into your heart, that I find, it's amazing. And I'm just thankful that Stacy,
my
wife, really got me into it.
Well, and that was actually where I met you, was through your wife, Stacy.
Yeah.
Because she invited me to one of those retreats or the workshops.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny because she kind of told me about it, and I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm dealing with a breakup right now. And, and she's like, well, it's this specific one was about love. Right. And she's like, well, I think this is perfect timing for you. God, universe, source has aligned to make this happen for you. And I went, all right, yeah, I'll do it. And just to the concept of like the butterfly effect, how drastically that one retreat changed my life. I went there. I had this experience that I was supposed to have. I met you. You became a very close friend of mine. And I've gone to work with you in certain aspects. Like, I've done more events with you guys. You've introduced me to other people as well that, I've made friends with, and some people, cause we play poker, right? And some of these folks have then, while we were playing poker, I've asked them to be on the podcast, and that's where some of the guests have come from. But just deciding to choose in on myself, to give myself that cup refill and take care of myself, led me to so many positive paths, and being around positive people like yourself. And you're one of the most kind, gracious people that I've ever met. You don't think in scarcity. And I think that's a super important thing for men to also adapt and adopt, is the concepts of thinking in abundance. And I've never known anything scarcity about you. Maybe time crunch or something like that when you have a deadline to hit. But other than that, you're just one of the most gracious, kind-hearted people that I've ever met.
Well, the universe has always given to me. And, part of me thinks it's luck, and, part of it's the way that I treat others. I really, I believe that if you lead with love, love is the only thing that matters. These retreats, these workshops, whatever you want to call it, we may do art, it's all about love and giving love to each other.
Yeah.
And really having a safe space where people can show love to each other. Because that seems to be the hardest thing for us to do.
Yeah.
Is to be, even as men especially. Yeah. Let's face it, as men, it is hard to lead with love, like real, honest, open love, because we've been taught ever since we were kids, don't cry, and that's not the way a man acts. And,
right.
You want to be a man. This is the way a man is. A man is hard, and he doesn't have any feelings. He's like a rock. And you know what? That's not what it is.
Right. And I was kind of thinking on that this morning, is in the concepts of Stoicism, a lot of people will have a negative aspect of Stoicism because they're like, oh, you just shut yourself off, like you're just a sociopath. And it's like, that's not it at all. I still feel all of the feelings. They're still there, and they're in abundance. But my reaction to them is what shifted in practicing Stoicism. As a man, you should have those feelings, but as a man, you shouldn't act emotionally.
I would say as a human, you should be able to experience all of these emotions. How I choose to respond to whatever the emotion is that I'm feeling, I think, is what is important.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And this podcast is largely based around masculinity, which is why I was referring to it in those terms. But
vaguely.
And Stoicism is...
we hint at it.
Very much as well a male-dominated. But I've met women that practice Stoicism as well, and they're just absolute powerhouses too. But
I think it's important to, if you can practice the idea of detaching the emotion from the result, so that the opportunity to view what is happening without an emotional connection, that the power of that choice and how I then choose to proceed allows for such greater opportunity. So for me, we were talking about earlier that, this is a never-ending project. I'm constantly working on this until I'm not here anymore. And it's that exact concept, because I don't do that all the time. I want to do that all the time. I find that I do it a lot more, where I'm able to just, okay, this is the result. If it is not the result that I want, then I will do something different to get the result that I do want. And sometimes the result that I don't want has a lot of emotional attachment to it. And it is quite the struggle to separate from that and acknowledge, like, okay, that's not what I wanted. And maybe it even hurts, right? Mm-hmm. And the reality is that, okay, I still get to choose how I proceed and how I allow myself to move forward based on what I am feeling and how much control over that I have. Because I'm the only person I have control of.
Right.
I don't control you or anybody else. It's me. It's up to me. It's not up to you to help me control me. It's up to me.
I'm sure you've probably heard people talking about peptides. It piqued your interest, you looked into it, but you don't know what source to trust. A lot of this stuff is coming out of China. If you're looking for a good quality peptide that's made in the United States, go to helixpure.com.